What is up, everybody? We are back here on the channel. We're talking 2026 quarterback class. We're going to be going through the top six-ish quarterbacks and then diving into some guys to kind of watch on the radar out there, going through some advanced metrics, looking at the raw stats, just kind of talking about the class as a whole. Now, the one thing that I will say about the quarterback class right now, there's a lot of question marks. There wasn't a lot of breakouts the freshman year. Some guys kind of look good. Some of the consensus guys just haven't gotten onto the field. So this list is going to change dramatically as they're going to get on the field there. So this is kind of a very rough draft version of those top guys, but let's get into it. So at number one right now for our consensus ranking, we have Jackson Arnold there, and we really like Jackson Arnold in terms of what he is as a quarterback at Oklahoma, 6'1", 214 kid, kind of got in there at the end last year when you were talking about kind of like where his stats, his numbers came up, playing behind Dylan Gabriel. And the reason why we like him so much and the reason why we think that he could be that number one guy, arms talent is there. He's really got the ability to kind of throw it around the field, hit different layers of the field. He layers the throws well. Like he knows where to get the football, intermediate, long, short. Like he does that extremely well. He's also a tough SOB. I kind of put that out there on social media the other day. This kid just knows how to play, stands in the pocket, does well. His high school tape was some of the best. We actually had Jackson Arnold at number one over other guys like Malachi Nelson and some other guys last year. Me and Christian Williams had that ranking out before everybody kind of jumped on board a little bit. But the reason why is because of those three things. His arm talent's there. He's very tough. He layers throws well. Now, areas that he's got to improve, right? You see the numbers down below of the games that he got in, had those 3 picks, especially in the bowl game, definitely was a little turnover-worthy throws were there, right? So he definitely saw that. His deep ball accuracy's got to improve. I think he can do it. You saw in the spring game this year, heading into his sophomore year, it looked pretty good there. But got to improve that a little bit. And his weight and frame, right? So thinking of what he is, like, hey, put on a little bit more weight. SEC now, right? So we're thinking, hey, Oklahoma's got to show that SEC level talent. And what is that going to be looking forward for him? But as a prospect, the things he does well translates well to the NFL. Now, when you're looking at his advanced stats, remember, a lot of these guys, as we go through this class, the advanced stats are very, they're fine, but the sample size is not very big, right? 64.8 passing grade. Big time throws is 4. Turnover worthy plays is 5. Those are the numbers that you don't want to see flipped there. 10.18 out is fine. 90.1 NFL, 3 sacks, 69.1 offensive grade. Everything there is fine, right? So moving forward, Jackson Arnold and why he could possibly move down, SEC talent, you're looking at kind of, doesn't improve that accuracy, makes too many turnover worthy plays. Those are the things you're looking at, but definitely the tools. The tools are there. Now, next quarterback at 2 for us, Nico from Tennessee. Nico is a special talent. Number 2 overall for us, 6'6", 210. And if you are building a Tennessee quarterback to fit in this system, he's the guy. Hupel system out there in Tennessee. And this is why. Arm talent again. He's got that. And when you watch him out there down in California in high school, this dude could sling it everywhere. There was no question about that arm talent. Above average athleticism too. You saw him kind of have that rushing upside, the touchdown on the ground, 116 yards. So you have seen that. And then the one thing that coaches have raved about with Nico is his leadership style. So they've talked about his ability to pick up offenses. He has that leadership with his teammates. And you know what? Tennessee didn't go active in the portal, go get a quarterback like some of these other teams did. They really look like it's going to be that's his role, right? It's his job to lose. So have to love that for him. Areas of improvement, he holds on to the ball too long. I think one thing that we saw, that's where the sacks kind of come from. He's got to learn that. But that's all about speed. That's all about learning, getting reps. Like, I think he'll be good there. Weight for the NFL is always going to be a thing because he's kind of got that slender frame there. And in timing, I think the timing aspect is going to improve because Tennessee's offense is all about timing. So I do think that's going to improve over time. I think the other thing I didn't put on here is like how much are we concerned with Tennessee's offense, right? The scheme, how it translates over to the NFL. I think that's something to know, but this is the best quarterback that they've had in Hupel's offense for a very, very long time. So I do think it's going to translate just fine. Again, the PFF numbers aren't, small sample size there. I think the big thing to notice is the sacks. 7 sacks in that time frame of the games that he played. He's got to get that ball out quicker. That's the big takeaway for me watching the film, going over kind of some of the advanced numbers. Get that ball out faster. Get it to your playmakers. Now, at 3, we got Arch Manning on here. Now, some people have him as 1. I know Texas fans love him. 6'4", 212, going to the SEC, and there's a lot of buzz for Arch. I think the big thing is he's behind Quinn Ewers, right? And what is that looking for in that depth chart? Some think he's better than Quinn. And after Quinn's kind of lackluster year last year, I think it could be an argument, right? But I do think that it's Quinn's job to lose. From a strengths perspective with Arch, I think frame size is there. He's that prototypical Manning. He's got that size. Pocket awareness is really good too. I think he manipulates defenses with his eyes in the pocket. I think he has a very, very solid frame, functional athleticism, gets inside, outside the pocket as well. Keeps his eyes downfield. He's always looking to make that throw as opposed to that run. And he makes every intermediate throw. Kid can throw it over the intermediate everywhere, right? And I think he's very, when you think of like, timing, he has that. He has that timing down. He knows the game. It's very cerebral for him. He's got that down. Areas of improvement, though, deep ball accuracy and just deep ball in general. I think that's one thing to note. Even in high school, I watched a lot of high school tape. I've watched him play. He didn't have that deep ball accuracy, and he never played against tough competition in high school. Like his school was a private school, not the best competition. It's still good, but did struggle in the playoffs in high school against some tough competition. So that's something to note going into the SEC, right? Playing time too. It's an issue. Got to get him on the field, right? We need to see those reps being there. I know that doesn't hurt his draft stock because he's a Manning. He's going to have that, but we'd like to see him get on the field, right? And then I think that's a big thing for him. And in velocity, I love that he can layer the ball well. He makes every intermediate throw, but does he have the velocity? Has he improved that to get it out fast and to make sure that he makes less turnover worthy throws? That's the big thing there. Now, not a ton of advanced stats here. Only had 30 yards, 3 for 7, just hadn't gotten the field there. So as you're watching him, I think the big thing is he made some great throws in the spring game, though. So there are times in the spring game you're like, oh, there's talent there. I think sitting for him has helped him develop. But now it's like, all right, is he going to get out there this year, or is he just going to be a junior, which I don't think they're really worried about from the Manning perspective. They wanted him to sit. That was kind of the plan. And if he sits again, he comes out next year, he looks really good, he'll be a first-round pick. But I think based on intangibles, what he can do, he's got to be in the top 3. But again, if some of these other guys that are after him play a little bit and they look good, they're definitely going to kind of jump him a little bit. Now, another kid that kind of disappointed last year based on I guess the hype going into the season was UCLA's quarterback, Dante Moore, who's now to Oregon, transferred over there, sitting behind, obviously, Dylan Gabriel, who's there now, 6'3", 210. Going to be a backup quarterback this year. From just what he did well, last year was kind of up and down. But when you have UCLA, you got Chip Kelly running over to Ohio State this year and doing those things. Like, obviously, there was a lot of problems in that program. And when he was out there, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, negative 84 yards. So we're seeing that rushing upside. The things that he always did well was he played a lot. He played a lot in high school. He played since his freshman year, the state championships he won, the maturity. Like, he has that. And I thought from how bad it was last year, you didn't hear a lot of negative things from Dante Moore, right? We didn't hear a lot of those stories that you usually hear from kids not doing well, not losing their job because of injury, however that happens. We didn't hear that from Moore. So that's positive. I think he is a mature prospect. Processes the field well. I think he does a good job of that. Last year he had those interceptions, but a lot of those, when you watch him, were just trying to do too much. I think he understands the game. He processes really well. I think he's going to pick up offenses, and I think this is a perfect offense to pick up. And anticipation on throws. In the times that he was there, he anticipates where the ball needs to be. He gets it out quick, those type of things. Areas of improvement. He didn't have a great freshman year, so that is something to note, right? He's going to sit a year, and then can he go out there? But it's not a shoo-in. Austin Novosad is still there as well, the former Baylor prospect who's sitting there on that depth chart. It's not a for sure Dante Moore's the guy. And, Oregon wants to win now. They think they are championship contenders. And if they see Dante Moore's not performing the championship level, they could easily move on and maybe get another transfer portal guy, right? So it's not for sure he's going to be there. Playing time, again, kind of like Arch. It's like, hey, is he going to get out there this year? And then the arm strength, I think, has always been a question mark for him, even in high school. Like, he knows where to get the ball to. He gets it out fast, those type of things. But does he have NFL-level arm strength? I think that's something to kind of note on his profile. Now, from a PFF standpoint, and he does have the numbers to kind of go through some of it, 58.1 passing grade is not great. 14 big-time throws and 14 turnover-worthy plays. That's where you see those interceptions come from. ADOT was not great. 10.3 is all right. 27 sacks is really kind of the number that stands out again. He's running for his life back there. Offensive line play is always going to be a struggle. Not at Oregon. They tend to do pretty good recruiting there. But offensive grade wasn't there. Definitely need to see an improvement from Dante Moore because a lot of people had him as their 1 or 2 last year, and that's just not the case right now. Now, at 5, Lenore Sellers. We're going upside play here from South Carolina. Interested to see kind of this kid and how he plays out. Again, it's like I said, some of these guys just did not play last year, and so there's a lot of movement here. 6'3", 245. Dude's built like a brick house. Strengths, dude's got frame and strength, man. You watch him play out there. He is fun to watch, especially from a rushing upside. Has that rushing upside there. Hard to take down or sack as well. Like when you're thinking of him, like the Cam Newton type, right? Big boy. Hard to take down, especially like ability to make plays through contact too. Rare arm strength too. He can sling it. Now, where that goes, sometimes we don't know, but he can definitely get it to every part of the field there. He's a hell of an upside play, like an upside ceiling guy in terms of that strengths. Areas of improvement, still has a 3-star profile, and in terms of drafts capital, that matters at the NFL level. Will be a project quarterback, still needs to develop. And I think the question is how does South Carolina's offense, could it hold him back? We saw, Spencer Rattler there last year and it was fine. I think it did hurt him a little bit here. Will he be there following this next year? The portal opening up, if he has a good enough year, maybe he moves on. I think that he needs to develop a lot as a passer. He's got the raw athleticism. He has the rushing upside. He has all of that. But the passing aspect is one that he's probably going to take some lumps this year. There's going to be games where he definitely doesn't throw the ball very well, but you can't just throw away like everything because he has that ceiling, and that ceiling is a lot of fun to think about. Now, from a PFF number, nothing crazy. I think the one that stands out to me is the ADOT. Only threw 4 passes, 4 for 4, so he's 100%. You gotta love that. But his ADOT, he pushes the ball down the field, so he's that big play quarterback. He's gonna push the ball down the field. He's gonna throw far. He's gonna hit his receivers deep, right? So he's that deep guy of this class. He's got the arm to do it. Rounding out the top 6, because I wanted to talk about this kid, Aiden Childs from Michigan State. 6 was the consensus ranking right now. Again, when you're thinking of him, the biggest thing for me is he's got the maturity, right? Oregon State transfer over to Michigan State. Leadership, mental toughness, has all of that. Like, that's the big thing. Last year with DJU, kind of battled it out as a true freshman out there. Coming over in the same offense with their coach, Jonathan Smith, you have to love that. I've loved what kind of Michigan State's built around them. Not flashy guys, but great guys on offense. Offensive line's going to be improved there. Really good athlete. Saw that from his rushing upside, the 3 touchdowns, has the 309 yards passing. The 4 touchdowns there throwing. Areas of improvement, mechanics, just little things. I think he can rush his mechanics under pressure, but did a good job of the spot starts in the areas that he played in last year. Release can be a little bit long, and then layering the ball at multiple levels. More of like a one-trick pony type kid who's going to be throwing that out there quick. But just really, really solid player, though. I think that he could go up boards up there. That's why I wanted to include him, because I do think that he can find some, areas where, hey, he just kind of moves and he's just solid prospect. He's developing, and I think teams are going to really like him. 65.8 passing grade. Didn't really have a ton of his stats there. His NFL passer rating was really good because you can see the raw numbers below, 24 for 35 and 4 touchdowns. But just a lot of fun. And I think if you're a Michigan State fan, you're excited because this is probably the best quarterback you've had for a little while in this offense and what you have there. And I think it's going to be more of a ground and pound, play action, really kind of old school Michigan State, but with a very efficient quarterback. And that should excite fans of them. And then just to wrap up the rest of these guys that you should probably have on your radar, guys that are out there, Sam Levitt from Arizona State. I know Andy Pham, who does work for us here on the channel. He really likes him there. Jaden Rashada is out there, and Jaden Rashada was a guy that a lot of people liked. I liked him as well. Didn't really have that Arizona State, kind of lost his job to Sam. Now at Georgia, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do after Carson Beck. Malachi Nelson, many had them as QB1. Now at Boise State, Avery Johnson's a complete wild card. He's so much fun. I love watching that kid play quarterback. I don't know if he's any good at quarterback, but damn, he's a lot of fun to watch. So going to be interesting to see how he does there. Austin Novosad, Lincoln Kineholz was a guy that like a lot of people talked about. You know, obviously Julian Sand being there. He'll probably be on a different team. Malachi Singleton also out there. So the 2026 class has a lot of question marks and other guys that maybe will pop up this year. But that was our take. That's kind of getting you guys an idea of who's out there, who's coming next in the 26 class, who to watch. But drop your list. Who do you like below? Who's your guys on there? Who's your top 5? I love kind of bantering with you guys and going with the overall of the 26 class. So appreciate you guys. I'll check you guys in the next one.